This is a tutorial for Unreal Editor 2 for the original Unreal Tournament Game of the Year edition. In this video, we will cover Breaking Glass. In a previous tutorial, I showed you how to make an invisible collision hull, which is using this button here called Add Special Brush. So first thing I have is two different brushes, as you can see. Let me zoom in. I have the sheet, which is the window texture from Gen In, and the second piece is the invisible collision hull, which is 1 unit away from the texture and also 1 unit smaller. On this side over here, I built a wall, this wall here, 256 units high. I have a little window frame in the middle, and then I subtracted out a hole in the middle, and that's where this breaking glass is going to be placed. So this window originally was 128 by 128 units. Then I added this little trim, and the trim is 8 units thickness all around. So therefore, if you subtract this from the hole, you're left with an opening that's 112 by 112. So this texture, which is the glass, that fits it perfectly. That's at 112 by 112. And then this, which is the invisible collision hull, you have to subtract 1 unit off of all of the sides. So this is actually 110 by 110. The next step you have to do is take your red brush and reset all. Then change your grid size down to 1. And set this perfectly so that it surrounds the window that we made without touching any other surface. So I'm going to have to adjust the dimensions in a second. So once you have your red builder brush in place and perfectly centered, just adjust that a little bit here. Then all you need to do is click on the Intersect button, which is here, and there's your red brush ready to go. So the next step that I did is I moved that red brush over to the opening so that it's perfectly aligned, like so. And then I clicked on the Add Mover Brush, which is this one here. Okay, so let's get this red one out of the way. And now that you've placed the mover, you can feel free to delete these two brushes if you want to, but I'll just leave them there for now. So to make a breaking glass, you need two pieces. You need that mover, which we just built, and you need this guy, which is the breaking glass actor. And how you get to it is Actor Browser, Effects, Exploding Wall, and you can see that breaking glass is a close relative to the exploding wall. So if you need to build an exploding wall in your map, it's going to be a similar technique. Then you have to put this breaking glass actor in the middle, and it requires a trigger. So let me open up the mover. First thing you need to do is create an event, and this event will match the tag of the breaking glass. So in this case I put break me. Then the mover will be triggered by damage, so you have to set that to true. And I'm only going to have the glass break once, so it's be trigger once only, set that to true. Here this is the damage threshold, which is how much damage you need to put into it to trigger it. So as long as you put it to 1, it just means anything that will damage that window will create the mover to move. Next, my favorite, which is ignore when encroach. So that means that mover is going to move out of the way and it won't interfere with the player at all. Move time of 0. So it's going to, that mover will instantaneously move out. And then down here under object, initial state has to be trigger open timed. And then for the breaking glass actor, right click on it, select properties. First you can determine how many particles it's going to break up into. By default this is 16. I made it 32. It doesn't make much of a difference. You could probably change this depending on the size of your window. Here this is important, that this breaking glass should not be able to collide with anything at all. So you have to set this one to false. Collide actors, false. Then under effects, the fact that it's only triggerable, that's true, so you have to set that to true. And then under exploding wall, I made this translucent glass, set that to true. And then under events, the tag break me matches the event of the mover. Now let's talk about the mover. What you need to do with the mover is, this is the resting place. This is what we call base 0. So you need to go and move this way out of the map. So preferably outside of your map completely, or in my case I put it somewhere where the player won't see it. And in my case I put it way over here. But really this should be outside of your map, outside of the playable surface of your map. So we are ready to go. We have a mover, which is the window. It is triggered by damage, which the damage is equal to 1. So anything, any type of bullet will trigger the mover. The mover will instantaneously move out of the map. So it'll just be there once and then disappear. It will trigger the breaking glass, which is the effect of the breaking glass. And the breaking glass must not collide with other actors, because you don't want this thing to be interfering when the player tries to shoot the window. So the player can shoot anywhere in the window and it'll trigger the mover. So let's see this in action. So you can see the window here. There's the texture for it, translucent, with the window frame. And then when I shoot on it, so that's all you need to do to create breaking glass. At the end of this video, I'm going to post a screenshot of all of those properties so you can copy them down.